Pardon my hair, it's a little all over the place. Sorry, started a few minutes late. Had to make a date for tomorrow to go see a movie. Yay! Sorry, just finishing up, making sure I didn't miss anything. Cool. So, we are... The dress is behind me. We worked on it yesterday. Let's see here. We worked on it a lot yesterday. And let's see if that... We're good. Okay. Here's the applique. So I know some people were asking about the applique. Here's the size of it. So I'm going to trim a bunch of these up and lay them along the hem. I don't know the orientation yet, but yeah, that's still to do. I'm going to take a break on the dress. Things went very smoothly so far, that I don't want to push it. It came together fairly quickly. It needs to be ironed. That's what you're kind of seeing now. That, and it's sitting on top of a box so that it is in frame, and so that the cat can't lay on the train because he's notorious for doing so. So for today's stream, we are going to make 3 ties. So the easiest way to make a tie, I don't have a tie pattern, so I'm going to take this old tie apart. So I've got my seam rippers, and I am just going to start destroying this. I looked online, and they said that the easiest way to make a tie, because I've never made a tie before, and I don't have, hiccups, a tie pattern, is to take apart a current tie. I think I've had this tie since I think this is a tie that I got from my grandfather back in the day when it was cool for females to wear ties. Not that it's still not cool, but it's just not the popular fad these days. Yep, stitches here too, in case you didn't know that, by the black mass in the foreground. He's trying to help it and make it easier for people to see what I'm doing by standing in the way. Right, buddy? Yeah. You can play with this end. That's fine. I think he's just more intrigued by the things sliding across the table than it actually looking like a rope. So what I just did now is I just removed the tag. That way I can start seam ripping it up. And it looks like there's some type of interface in this, which makes it heavier than it needed to be. I don't know. It's an old school tie. I'm going to make my ties light. The dudes are going to be wearing all black, so like I don't need them to have some extra heavy weight around, especially when they're only going to wear it for like 15 minutes, and as soon as we get to food, they're going to be taking it off. Like, I know how it is. They just have to look dapper for a couple photos. So what I'm doing is I'm using my seam ripper, and I am literally just ripping apart my seams. I'm slowly pulling them apart. You can't run away with that stitch. What you can also do when you're using a seam ripper is you can use on mine there's a red ball, on some people's it's orange, I've seen some that are yellow, just so that they're noticeable, but mine's red. You can take the red ball and put that between your fabric, and you should be able to, if you're careful, lightly seam rip. A lot of people want to put the pointy end in that fabric group, but what ends up happening is the tip will catch on something, and you never want to rip through the fabric. You just want to get the thread. So that ball kind of acts as a way to separate the thread, or the fabric, sorry, so that you are only grabbing hold of the thread and you're not cutting the fabric. So as you can see, as I open and ooh, that's interesting what they did. Highly unnecessary. But I see what they did. Because that would have been sleek, just, alright. So there's this is a very old tie. It's got this really thick, almost like canvas webbing that is inside the tie. So we've got, you know what, I'm going to turn off one of these lights so it's not so white on my desk for you guys. Alright, you might be able to see this a little better. Probably not. Nope, I went and stood in frame and it lightened up. So it's got this lining in there, but then it also has this thick canvas piece. We are not going to be putting this thick canvas piece back in our ties. We're not going to use, nope. The fabric we are using is thicker than this fabric and we should be good to go. So I'm just going to keep seam ripping. I was also contemplating making pocket squares. We'll see how much scraps I have after the ties. I'm going to try to use all scraps for the ties. There's still some pieces to the dress I need to complete. So if I can use up my scraps, then I know I'll be sitting pretty with my remaining fabric chunks. I'm doing this quickly too. I honestly don't care if I accidentally rip the fabric. I'm not though. I wonder if I can even do it with the scissors. Would that just get too daring? How's it going, Stitch? I'm sure everybody loves seeing you. Look at what I'm doing. So, if you're watching, I'm still here behind the cat. You're strategically sitting right in the way, buddy. Are you helping? So for those that don't follow me on Facebook or Instagram, this is Stitch. Or as he likes to address himself as, Space Admiral Stitch. We just go with it. I don't know why. Why wouldn't they have that uneven? That is so strange. And so the thread changes halfway through this. Even more bizarre. Huh. So strange. Now ties come in multiple pieces, so I am literally undoing all of it. And we are going to make our own tie. So I'm turning the tip inside out. weird stitch. Sorry, I'm just trying to see these threads on the woven fabric to pull them apart. Definitely not a pain in the A. Ah. Alright, we're gonna go this way. Because what I want to do is I want to remove the lining from the rest of the body. That way I can trace it all. I've made many ties in my day, I can say. Can't say that most of the creatures I make costumes of have ties. But I also want to be careful not to fray the fabric because something weird's going on with this fabric. It looks like if I hold it too much, it's just gonna poof. So I'm removing the lining slowly but surely. See, I got one side free. So what I'm doing is I'm using my fingers to separate the fabric from each other, and as the threads become apparent, I am using my seam ripper to rip them. Pretty darn straightforward. This is some pretty crappy material though that somebody made for a tie, so Grandpa, you must have like paid $2 for this back in the day. No, maybe like 5 cents, right? Because wasn't bread even cheaper then? So like you can tell that it's not a perfect triangle because the tip's cut off of it. I don't know. It's a funky pattern, yo. But we're gonna go with it. Everything except for this part of it. This is the stupid part. Why would you even? This is just a waste of someone's time. They, like, you only sewed into it half the time. What's the point? What is the absolute point? I get it, to add some thickness to it, but this tie then would have been really heavy. Now ties are made up of more than just one piece, so I've got to find the joining sections and cut them. I did a 3-hour Pokemon walk this morning. Over 20,000 steps. Finished hatching eggs and battling raids. Took a bunch of gyms downtown before anybody was up. Alright. So here's one piece now. Here's the lining for it. Here's another piece. Oh, there's another section. Oh, okay. My mistake. There's even more pieces. I thought there was 3 pieces to the necktie. Because I did do a bunch of research before diving into this. Before my stream, I was catching up on my soap operas on Netflix. If you have not watched Meteor Garden, and you dig some emotional crying both on happy and sad parts, I highly recommend it. It is still airing, so every week there's 3 new episodes, because I think Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday they air new episodes, so we get them in the US on Wednesday, or at least that's when I've noticed I got them. We get all 3 episodes loaded on Wednesday. So again, just doing more seam ripping. Just trying to free. So I'm just ripping this apart so that we can use it as a pattern. Oop, literally just ripped it apart. Oops, that wasn't supposed to happen. Way back. Let's do it this way then. Material is so synthetic. Trying to figure out which of the white threads on this back piece are to the seam and which ones are part of the actual design. Ugh. We got that horrible tip mess done. So I'm trying to just flip it right side out, and oh, I see what happened. That's why. So because the inside lining is set in, what it means is on each of the points they've taken it in a bit with their machine stitches. Which is fine, but so I'm able to pull the loops, which means that there's no thread attached to them. Why is it not? Oh, it is. Okay. These are some weird stitch patterns. How you doing? Actual stitch. You composing yourself? Mm-hmm. So that one's just sewn for some reason across just one side of it. Unless that's, no, that's not where the tag was either. Whoever originally stitched this together did an eclectic job. At first I thought it was machine, but there was no way that this was machine done. No way. So I'm just ripping out the seams. Ooh. Sometimes I feel like more than one. Ha. Coming apart. We're able to get them in chunks off. His gaze is just fixed on the green fabric. All right. I think we have all of our pieces. That seems like a really long time. What the average tie length? Oh, I guess. Okay. I guess that's the right size. It just seems very long when laid out like this. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of push these off to the side as I find fabric for this project. So I put all of my fabric leftover scraps inside a plastic bag. That way it wouldn't keep fraying and shedding all over the place. That came with it. I don't know why I'm keeping those. I just am for some strange reason. So here's a piece that could potentially be long enough, not wide enough. Holy cannoli, not wide enough. So I'm laying out my fabric. I'm impressed stitched by your willpower right now. See, I knew that I had some bigger pieces, so this will be perfect for that fits perfectly. It might even fit better this way. And it does. Alright, so we found one tie. Big piece. I need to find 3 big pieces like that. It's gonna making 3 ties. I know there's enough of this little stuff to cover all the rest. Without a problem. Here's another bigger chunk. Yep, and this is a good piece too. It's not for you to lay on. I know it's very tempting. So there's a, can I, loving with, thank you, studs and spikes. The dress it's coming along. We still need to do the lining for it, and stitch is strategically, yep, that's the perfect spot to lay. That's not at all where I was pulling fabric from. I love you, buddy, but can I have some fabric, please? Excuse me, excuse me, oh, excuse me, excuse me. Yeah, that's an even better spot for you. I need this. Excuse me, thank you. Alright, so we got 3 big... Out of all of the space on this table, dudesies, can I... You want to just lay on the bag, right? The bag is all you're interested in? Give me the nice fabric. Here. Here, you can lay on the bag. There you go, buddy. Lay on the bag. Gotta love them. So we've got 3 large pieces for the main chunk of our tie. Remember, we're making 3 ties to match the dress. I'm taking a day off of building this craziness. The train is down here. It's on top of a crate so that the train doesn't sit on the ground, so that he can't sit on top of it, because as you already see, he's claiming space as his own. So we'll put the lining in this weekend, and then we'll close off the neck and the hole in the back and the sleeves, and then starting on Monday we are going to start trimming. I was lazy and just wanted to stretch for that one. We're going to start trimming our applique pieces. Yep. And Stitch managed to jump from my table all the way to the top of this cat tree. We're going to start trimming the applique pieces and just kind of tacking them to the dress to kind of figure out how we want them to lay out. They do have a 3-dimensional element to them that I mentioned on Instagram, and you can see it here. It's lifted up. It's a flower on top of a flower on top of a flower, and then there's a little... They're just so pretty. So they turned out really well. I've got 20 of them right now. I can make more, no problem. And yeah, we're gonna go from there. But that lace applique starts on Monday. Right now we're gonna take a break since this is going together, and I don't want to, like, I'm having one of those off days. I did a 3-hour Pokemon walk. My legs are kind of like Jello, slightly hungry but not, because I already ate. I shouldn't eat more type of situation. And so we're just gonna work on ties, because the ties need to match the dress, because I'm crazy like that. Yeah, just a chill tie day. Let's see. So I've got the 3 big pieces. Now I need 3 pieces for these weird chunks. So, like, that's just a whole lot of fabric. That's way too much fabric. So let's check this piece out. I'm going to see if I can get, so I've got the big side of the tie pieces on my lap. The small side of the tie still has a triangle tip to them, so it's a little wider. I don't want to use really big pieces if I'm only going to use chunks of it, you know, and it's just, yeah, so it's just trial and error right now. Because I want to say that with this piece here, I could even do a small piece there, so yeah, that works for one. Let's put these ones on the armrest there so I can move my legs. So this works for one of them. Yeah, I could try using these. Those little strips are too small. 1, 2. I might be able to use some of these small scraps. This is one thing that when I work with fabric, I look back at things and supplies like warble. And I love warble because there's no scraps, there's no leftovers. I can easily just melt everything down, roller pin it out, or roll it out into something different. With fabric, you gotta use your pieces and like strategically puzzle them together so that they work how you want them to. A different fun. Indeed fun, but different. Alright, 1 piece. 2 pieces, 3 pieces of the small, 3 pieces of the big, and what's this? Let's see here. As I next them, I'm gonna fold them up, get them ready to go back into the bag. Itchy nose. This does work. Which means that this one will work, and there should be more of that size. Too big. And this guy's the other side to that. Now I think I'm going to do something different. Or should I just keep it the same? Maybe that's what I'll do. That way the lining is the exact same too. So here's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, no problem. Okay, so I'll do the lining in these. Smaller chunks in these. Okay. I'm just going to fold these ones up together. It's a good way to use a bunch of scrap pieces. I don't feel like I'm wasting big pieces. I'm not going to seal this up because I might even have more things to put back in it. The tape. The stitch-proof tape. I have to tape my lights to the table because somebody likes to rub his face against my lights and it shakes them and or pushes them over. So that's our preventative actions. I'm going to start with tracing out my linings. Everything looks like it has, well, I'll measure it so that it's not all looks like it is. Oh. There is a seam allowance to it, but it's not a ½ inch, it's not a quarter of an inch. It's like, I don't even know what the measurement. Let's see here, let's count it. 1, 2. Okay, it's literally, it's exactly 3/8 of an inch. Oh, that's nice to know. It's the only traditional thing here. We want to, actually this is lining, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as long as it's cohesive. So I'm going to just use chalk. And I'm not going to draw on the pretty side of the fabric. Always flip it over. That would have been foolish of me. Again, this is my lining, so no one's really going to see it. Checking my phone. Actually, I should turn my phone so that I can hear it when it goes up. Oh, da, 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 da. I open up my phone and it's just bunches of pictures of everybody having fun at Dragon Con. So by flattening it out, I'm going to rotate it around a bit. It's just not... This is really funky and wrinkly, so I'm going to flip it over and use parts of it on the other side too. I'm going to come back with a ruler too into these patterns just to make sure, because that was quite funky. So there's 6 inches from the tip to the side. Make sure that there's 6 inches on this side too. There's more, so that's why we did this, because there should not be. 6 inches. We're gonna go with a solid 4, going up. So I went with the pattern, yet I still did my own. So this is the lining. I need 3 of these. Take my fabric scissors. I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the dress, where I gave it kind of a gap or an allowance, because I do have to serge all these ends. Even though I'm not putting, like, I don't want to half-ass it. So leaving just a little bit. So I've never made a tie before, so we are experimenting together. If this all goes well, maybe I will take the pattern that I used and put it online for you guys to use. We're going to just play it by ear. my lining. Part of me almost wants to serge this and then just trace this a bunch of times. Heh, that's exactly what I'm going to do. That's a great idea. I'm going to just rotate my dress. I don't roll over the back of it. So we're going to serge each piece. That way we can just use that piece as the template. Because it'll have cleaner lines and everything. That, and I know how much you guys love the sound of my very old serger. Usually I try it first, but I'm feeling daring. Very nice. See, so that's going to be a nice line to follow and trace out a bunch of times, just serging them. Let's just keep going around quickly. I'm following the lines that I drew with my knife. I'm making sure to serge all the way through. That way it goes over the serge marks that I just did, kind of giving it a nice clean point. Just keep going all the way around. I'm just going to quickly pick up my scraps that fall on the floor. Last thing I want is the cat to ingest them, because as we all saw earlier, he does what he's told so often. Turn this off and just kind of push this off to the side for now. So we've got the lining point for one cut, and this is again the inside. So unfortunately you won't even see this. Is it perfectly symmetrical? Yes, it is. Fantastic. Yay! So I need 2 more of these. This was the fabric we were working on. I believe that's going to be for the next 3 of the tiny ones. So material goes this way, keeping with the grain. I'm going to use the ruler to help flatten out the lines and assist me in drawing a straight line. when I go to serge these ones, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut in a little bit because my lines are being drawn on the outside perimeter in chalk. So obviously I am kind of giving it a little bit of a extra 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch. We just don't want that. Trace out another one, and then we'll cut them and serge them both. I would prefer to serge as we go with this project. One, it gives my serger a little bit of time. She is an oldie but a goodie. Whoops, until I break her. And I just don't want her to overheat. Yesterday we put her through some rigmarole. Let's see here. I'm not botching my threads. Oop. That's better. So I'm using the ruler to flatten out my edges as well as act as a place to run the chalk along for a straight edge. People on Instagram and Facebook have been inquiring when this project needs to be done by. September. I won't give you the exact date, but yeah, September. In September. So we're pushing. Once we get the lace done, I will feel a lot better about relaxing and coasting, but I'd rather stay driving through right now. That way I'm not crunching the last minute. Serging the next two. Remember with these ones I'm going to cut in just a little bit more. So I'm making sure that the chalk line is running on the outside of my cutting blade. Where did I put the other? So now let's compare them. Oh, cool. They couldn't be any more perfect. That's fantastic. All right. So far, so good, folks. I thought yesterday was Thursday and today was Friday, but nope, today's Thursday. So if I'm still working on these ties tomorrow, it's okay because I was one day ahead in my plans. Trim off all these little nerdlets. Pick up all my scraps so that I don't kill the cat. Machine off for a minute. So we've got now 3 of the large lining pieces. Woohoo. Next we're going to do the 3 small pieces. Here they are. Shoot, I might be able to get all 3 of them done on that. Ugh. Oh, and I'm drawing it on shame. No wonder it wasn't shame. Putting it on the nice side of the fabric. Shame. Rookie mistakes. Also, it wasn't drawing because it's silk. It's like a shiny silk that's woven on the backside. So I wasn't getting real far. So just like with the first one, we're going to measure it all out. And we're going to go with millimeters this time around. I'm tired of using inches. So we're going to go 10 millimeters out. Let's see if I can get 10 millimeters on this side. Just. Okay. Well, let's crop this pattern from its spot. Nope, wrong side. I would be searching. I crop it. Nope, that would be 60. Gosh darn. Elaborate. So here's the itty bitty lining for the front. Okay, works for me. Now we need to cut 2 more, make and cut 2 more. So I think we said it was what, 14? 14 and a half? 14 and a half millimeters. Drops down 7 and 10. Yep, 7 drops, cool. Alright, 1 more to draw. These little pieces will fall wet. I won't be able to use them. I mean, after all, we can't use them for these tiny little things. Okay, so we know that it's a 14 and a half. With a 7-inch drop. Or 7 millimeter, sorry. Sorry, 7 millimeters. Line this up. Looks clear. 10 on the sides. Alright. And now I'm going to trim this just because there's so much fabric around it. Get rid of that tiny little piece. Oh, my hair is stuck in everything. Yay. The small triangles are done now for the lining. All of our lining pieces are done. Now we get to work on the actual fake pieces. I should, I feel like, be more excited about, but I'm not. And they're still on my chair arm. Okay. So I need 3 of these middle pieces. So I'm just trying to hold them down flat as... Oh, shoot, I'm just going to draw a straight line. I'm going to pin these down because they really aren't staying flat for me. Which almost makes me want to pin it down 3 times and cut once. Just saying. Reason being is I won't have the white line to follow as a guide when I go to serge it all together. So I'm going to try to do this without whining and complaining. So I'm pinning them both up and down and side to side, perpendicular with each other. That way it won't want to do some awkward stretching. It's got some gunk on it. So the tie that my fiance will be wearing, or future husband's going to be wearing, is going to have gold applique on it like my dress, so that we match too. I just also didn't want our buddies standing up or my fiance's groomsmen to have to go and worry about finding a tie that matches my dress. No worries, dude, I'll make you a tie that matches my dress. Alright, so I've pinned it down. So these pins are good, the ones that I use, so I'm going to leave them out. That way I don't have to go fishing for other ones that might have sticky glue on them, because I use my pins for things that I'm not supposed to. Yikes. Alright, let's move this way. So here's one. I'll have to answer, call them back later. In the middle of a stream. Sorry. So I'm pinning still those small sections. So I'm pinning it because the pattern's just curled all over the place. Sorry, I'm silent. I'm just trying to focus. Laying out this stretch woven tie fabric. I don't understand why someone would use stretch fabric for a tie. Baka. Like, come on. A stretch knit, of all things. So it's fraying and stretching all at the same time. Alright, so I've got all 3 pieces ready to be serged. Just a different number column. Here, we'll pick up this one. Ashley speaking. Yeah, love a good telemarketer. See, that's why I don't pick up my phone. Oh. So here's one piece. I am going to trim these ones after that last. Again, I'm leaving room for the serger to still cut. That way it's nice and clean. This is still a nice big piece. I just cut the pieces out of that, so that's not one. Alright. Alright, we are breaking ground. Get rid of some of these scraps. Eventually everything ends up red. Still, my armrests are the big pieces. We'll leave them there for now as we work to clear our table. There are the pieces. You guys can't see them. Now we're doing these pieces. It wasn't even to begin with. I think I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try pinning through 3 and cutting once. Why not? So I am going to try pinning carefully through all 3 layers and cutting once. That way I'm saving some time, because these are long. So we'll see how it goes. Sorry, people are posting photos from the photo shoot that we had last Sunday, and I'm just giving them my reply quickly. I hate letting people linger and wait, as they probably think, did she see it? Did she see it? Of course I saw it. Ta! I left a comment because I saw it. Here, I'll show you guys too. Here's one of the shots from this Sunday of my Shadow Saint Chima from Persona 5. Check it out online. Facebook. As of right now, that's where they're all getting posted to. Is they're posting them on Facebook. So far, pinning all 3 together is coming out, well, it's starting out. I'm gonna pin up a bit. That way it won't move on me. So I'm pinning along the sides after I've tacked on the bottom. I'm doing this all with the pretty sides facing down, so I'm doing all this on the negative side of the world. I'm not worrying about my edges right now because remember we are going to serge them. This tie was a normal size tie, and so I wanted it to be flat. A little smaller maybe too, skinnier, I think is what the dudes say. But it has to match the dress that's behind me. Goodness gracious, what is going on here? So it looks like I craptastically lined up. Oh, it's going to hit just on the outside of that. I've got to do a little bit of adjusting. So many friends are at Dragon Con this weekend because of my September plans. We didn't go. Well, obviously we didn't go. I'm right here. I'm not on a plane heading toward fun. PAX is also, PAX West is this weekend. That's going to be an awesome convention too. But are any of them going to go see Crazy Rich Asians tomorrow? Don't think so. Well, maybe. But so am I. Instead of even drawing, I'm just going to start cutting. Save these pieces, because you never know. couldn't have planned that out any better. Unpin and search it all. Making some ties. Making some ties. So what I'm going to do is just make sure that I start this one. That guy ends. Short outside one is done. It's gonna be so cool. Why would you need that weird, crappy lining on the inside? I'm still flabbergasted at what I saw when I took that original piece apart. I'm just serging my ends because the brocade silk sheds all over the place. just make sure. What they don't know, telemarkers, it's a great song. If you have not watched Overlord, the anime, I highly recommend it. You are, without a doubt, missing out. Without a doubt. Third one done. Alright. Now for the stuff that's been sitting on my armrest. So that technique worked out fairly well. Let's check out the evenness of them all. Yeah, they are somehow exactly spot on with each other, which, hey, not complaining, not complaining. So for the last part of this stream, what we are going to do is we are going to finish doing this last big one. Then I'm going to take a break, eat stuff, and come on back. So since this is the front of the tie, just like with the front of the dress, we are making sure that we go up and down with the grain. This is what people see. This is not the time where you get spotty with your craftsmanship, folks. And I'm gonna, so I'm gonna pin it. At the tip, hoping that I can stretch it. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Just gonna quickly spot check it with some. So I'm pressing down fairly firmly as I spread this out. Okay, wonderful. Just wanted to make sure that I made it on the back side because we were kind of cutting it close. So now that I got that base, I can sit down now and tack the rest into place. My legs are still sore from the Pokemon walk that I did this morning. I did hatch 8 eggs though. No, they were not all 2K and incubating at the same time. I made sure to get back with enough time to go through all 280 some Pokemon that I caught before I started this stream. Again, priorities. So if you're a Pokemon trainer and send gifts daily, you can send me a DM and we can trade numbers, Pokemon numbers, and be friends. But I'm a daily gift giver, so I ask politely of that in return. In a couple days, I become best friends with a couple people. That's the strongest friendship you can achieve on Pokemon Go. And what that does is it gives you buffs and extra experience when you raid together and do all the other fun stuff in the game. So I'm just carefully pitting things out, making sure that I'm still kind of giving a little bit of stretch to the material as I'm tacking it down. As I do this, all I can think about is the last 3 episodes that I just watched of Meteor Garden, so I'm sorry. I get silent and all that rolls through my head. Well, I'm not going to tell you, because if you haven't watched Meteor Garden, you're thinking about it. I'm not going to spoil a darn thing for you. Japanese, Korean soaps, they know how to get you. And the feels. You're crying when you're happy, you're crying when you're sad. It's fantastic. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing and just carefully cut it. These two can be saved. So we gotta be careful because it looks like it's rolled up on this side. So we're not going to keep those. We'll keep this strip. keep this piece. That's an actual good triangle. So is that. Too small of a triangle. Same size as the other ones. So I'm going to put all these scraps away. You know what I should look up before I finish this? The dimensions of the pocket square. Okay, Google. Well. Okay, Google. What are the dimensions of a traditional pocket square? By 10 inches or 17 by 17 inches. I'm going to make them 10 by 10 inches because I imagine the 17 by 17 inches to shove into your pockets a whole lot. And a part of me is even thinking like maybe I will... Because it's just two triangles that stick up, right? I'm going to think of something that's going to be a little easier because do you guys like actually folding up pocket squares? I don't know. Maybe I'll make a pocket square, a fake pocket square. F-O-C-K-E-T. I'm making things up. That's a bad word. Forgive me, folks. That way it just shows. And if I can line it on an angle, that way it has the... I'm going to have to figure and test some things out. I got some ideas. When we put the ties together in the next video, we'll also do some pocket squares. Oh my goodness, did I just forget all the pins on one side? Jesus. My hair is long. I'm trying to keep it down more. But I'm thinking of tossing it up. Here we go! Snipping the extra threads. Just like the other ones, I want to make sure these guys are even. best as possible. Looks like we got some room to give over on this side. Done. One. A vintage Surge cola sticker. That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. Except for this thing gets so hot, like I'm very warm on the other side, that I'm afraid that anything that gets stuck to it would, like the flat area here, maybe I could put it somewhere over here where it's not so, this is just a casing so it's not warm. yeah, making ties. These ties are going to match the dress behind me. Things are going so well with the dress that I figured let's just take a moment and work on ties for today. They gotta get done no matter what. Sorry, I gotta answer this. It's important. So I'm almost done. I've just gotta go around. Like getting really warm until I'm using the serger. And it's not like I'm exerting any energy to make this thing go. I feel like it's got the heat level of an easy bake oven. Too hot for its own good. Before I do this side, I want to double check and make sure that they're even. I can adjust things as I go up and sew things to make them even. That's not an issue, but like, let's just be proactive instead of reactive. If I can try to fix it now and make adjustments, I'm going to. Worked out real well. Alright, so I'll turn this hot box off. Okay, it's not... Ooh, it's gross in there. When I go grocery shopping next, I'm going to make sure I get another can of air. I do like to usually brush my machines out, but with this one, so I don't have to take it all apart, I'm just kind of blowing air to get most of it off. I will oil it and all that other good stuff, but for now it's just a quick solution. I know, shame. So we're done with the serger, so I'm going to pack this all back up. And I'm going to actually call it quits for the stream for today. I'm sweating, I'm hungry, I don't want to get hangry with you guys. I've got to go through the tie stuff. I've got to read directions and figure out how I'm really going to get the inside and the lining together, do some pressing and boop to boop. But I am going to try to Twitch stream tomorrow. You heard that I've got a date tomorrow with the girlfriend, and we're gonna go see Crazy Rich Asians. I'm really excited. Like, really, really excited. Yeah, okay, anywho. So, I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow at noon or 1. I very well may be able to stream later, maybe around 3, 4, 5-ish. Again, stay posted to Instagram. I'll post something there. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're here at 1 like we were today, even though we were also here yesterday at 1, because I thought yesterday was Thursday and that today would be Friday, but today is Thursday and tomorrow's Friday. That's just a blunder on my part. So the dress is behind us. We've still got to do the lining, but we're rocking and rolling. The ties are all cut out, ready to be sewn together. The applique is behind me, ready to get cut and to get like tacked on. So much to do, so much already done. I'm pleased with the progress we have so far going into the weekend. If I don't get to stream tomorrow, I will definitely be streaming on Sunday. Remember, Sunday we are also picking the winners for the Instagram giveaway. So if you have not entered to get a free 6-piece set of paintbrushes and a signed print, jump over to my Instagram and do so. I will post a link in my messages right there where you can go and do that. So I will for sure see you Sunday. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for everybody that stopped by. I will talk to you later.